Right. Sorry for that delay. Um, Let me also open the exam kit. So I have shared you all the exam kit, which is relevant to our exam. Okay. So when it comes to tax exams, guys, so first thing that we need to note, we need to have a fresh mindset to think. So you all know the theoretical knowledge, but now it is time to apply that theoretical knowledge. So what we need to adhere here? First, we need to make ourselves bit disciplined. So in tax, you need some common sense. Now we'll discuss some questions today. So the questions that we are going to discuss, we need some common sense to understand. For an example, if the examiner is asking from you from income tax, then you need to worry about what are the incomes a person would receive, isn't it? So what are the incomes a person would receive? So technically from his non-savings income he will receive a part, then he will receive from his savings income, from his dividend incomes. So it is open for examiner to test all these knowledge from you, isn't it? So when it comes to non-savings income, then you need to know how to allocate your personal allowance. Then when it comes to your savings income, you need to understand who will receive the nil rate band. If it's a basic rate taxpayer, what is the amount of nil rate band he will get? What's the amount? The 1,000. Then if it is a high rate tax band payer, what will happen? So if you are getting an occupational pension scheme, what happens? How you need to deal with that? If you are having a personal pension scheme, how you need to deal with those? Now, those are the grips and understandings you should have. So you can expect these kind of questions with the examiner. And also, I've told you the first 11 chapters is about income tax. So he can merge from your income tax computations and employment income. So an employment income is from your non-savings income, isn't it? So likewise, you should have. So does bonus fall under savings income or non-savings income? What bonus? When you can't say blindly bonus. Is it the bonus paid to an employee? Then it's employment income, not savings income. You got it? Right. Fine. Because there was a question from a student. Okay. So now you need to understand some common sense, guys. That's the first thing. Because when it comes to the exam platform, here you need to work. Then we need to work together. Did you understand that? The main thing that we miss out is that bit of common sense. Okay. That is the extra thing that we need to carry from home. Is that clear? Fine. So now what we are going to see is, today I told you we'll be focusing on the income tax parts. We'll go directly into a section C type. Section C type question. So when you go to your section C type, now you all know the exam format, okay? I'll revise the exam format in the other classes too, but today I'm not going to go to the exam format, okay? You know, there are 3 sections and we need to answer all. So in this exam kit, we are going to look into the income tax part. We are going to look into the income tax and national insurance. What are the 2 areas we are going to check? The income tax portion and NIC. What is NIC? National Insurance Contributions. So in this question, the first area that we are going to see, the structured question, the constructed response questions. So let's go to an adapted question. The footprints means adapted. What do you mean by adapted? These are very old. I mean, this is the March and July 2020 exam paper. Okay, so they have adapted these two together to form, to reflect your financial act. But it's not a bad question to start off with. So we are going to analyze the case of Jason. Okay, so Jason's question only we are going to do. So we are going to see what sort of things that examiner is asking from us. What are the requirements? How I need to structure an answer to this question is our aim. So whom we are going to see? Jason. Fine. So go to page number 35. Better to have your laptops with you, then it's easy. Because don't bring your books for exam expert sessions. You got it? Because you are going to type in your laptop or in your computer, right? So then make sure you also have that platform, so you are practicing from home itself. Now don't make it the habit first time that you go to the exam hall and you see your screen to type your answers. Okay, fine. So you are going to go to question number, sorry, page number 35. It's in page number 35, question number 98, I think. So go to page number 35. So this is your fact sheet, guys. I'll go through a bit here. Now see, this thing will be given to you. So in the fact sheet, they have in terms of income tax, they have given you the rates. Okay. Then the personal allowances, the transferable amount, income limit, and everything is given. And then residency status, those wordings are given. You know why you are using these things for ties. You should know what are the ties available for us. And then they are talking about the child benefits. You know what happens for the child benefit if it is falling 50,000 and 60,000. Then what happens? Then car benefits percentage, if it is 51 grams and 55 grams or lesser, what you need to do. Okay. Then they are talking about the electric car mileages, car fuel benefit they have given, company van benefits is given, ISA savings is given, renter room relief is given, the pension schemes is given to us. Okay. Then approved mileage for cars is given, capital allowances percentage for main pool and special rate pool is given. So annual investment allowance, structures and building allowance, cash basis accounting, the revenue limits, the capital cap on income tax reliefs is given. Okay. So marginal relief, you know this upper limit, and you know what is augmented profits? What is augmented profits? Taxable profits plus, not just profits, taxable profits plus dividend. Okay, good. Then these are the things that you will see in the fact sheet. Okay. So then the inheritance tax, taper reliefs, all those things are given. Some important figures are given to us. It's good because we also can't remember everything, but not everything. Okay. So there are certain concepts you need to know, but we are not going to be so hard. But let's see how we are going to work it out. Fine. So now we need to go question number 38, right? It was, sorry, 98, page number 38, no? 30.
The page number 35.
Okay, thank you. Okay, fine. So let me keep this a bit this side. So this is a section C type question. Let's read this question in a while. This scenario relates three requirements. So let's see what are those three requirements for us. The first one, state one advantage and one disadvantage for an employee if their employer payrolls the taxable benefits provided to the employee. Okay. So one advantage and disadvantage for an employee if the employer is payrolling the taxable benefits to them. Okay. So then what happens? You need to write for 2 marks. For this question, do you need to read the scenario to answer? You got it. So this, for these kind of questions, you need to generate your answers in-house. When I say in-house means you need to produce your answer based on your understanding. So for this kind of questions, to earn these 2 marks, you don't want to go back. Okay. How many points you need to write? 2 points. 1 point, 1 mark. Okay. So write 2 points. Enough. That's why they are asking one advantage. Don't write three advantages if you know. Thinking that I don't know a disadvantage, I'll try three advantages, still they will give you only 1 mark. Then another mark will be provided to disadvantage. First, you need to understand that. So don't waste more time here. Because you are gaining only 2 marks. Now you are left with only 98 marks. Isn't it? Next. Then here they are asking us to calculate. When they ask you to calculate, can you type answers? Now you need to show numbers. Calculation means you need to do your calculation using numbers. First, you need to understand the verb, what they're asking us. It's very important. How much more income tax Jason will have to pay for the tax year 23-24 if he takes up the offer of employment with subsequent PLC? Be very careful. So if he's taking up the offer with subsequent PLC, then what is his benefit, or how much more income tax he needs to pay rather than remaining employed by initial PLC? So there is a comparison here, right? Now to design your answer, you need to address three things to the examiner here. What are those three things? First thing, your answer should be based on a separate calculations for Jason's employment income for the tax year 23-24 under each alternative. Which means for subsequent PLC as well as for initial PLC. By reading the requirement itself, you need to understand what you are supposed to tailor. You got it? No, still I didn't read my question, but I'm just reading my requirements and making sure I am understanding my requirement. That is important. So this is one of his expectation. If you don't meet expectation, no marks. Second thing, you should indicate by use 0 any items which are not taxable or deductible. So for an example, if there is an exemption, you have to write it is as an exemption and mention it is 0. Don't just answer to your mind and say, oh, this is exempted, you don't want to show it in your answer. Present that information. Okay, so that is an expectation. So they are clearly telling to you. Then you are not required. So they are asking you, you are not required to calculate Jason's national insurance contributions. So NICs you don't want to calculate, then you don't go and calculate it. Okay, did you understand that? So first you need to understand how many marks you are getting. 11 marks. For your structure and understanding your question is important. How you are going to draft your response. So I'm making my plan. Fine. Then here I need to prove the examiner with some calculations for subsequent PLC and initial PLC and how much of tax he is paying. Okay, so they are asking calculate how much more income tax Jason will have to pay if he is choosing the offer subsequent PLC, which means technically he is saying initial PLC's income is giving his less taxes compared to subsequent. So in your answer, it needs to reflect. I mean, just an indication. Okay, it can be other way around sometimes, but just an indication. I'm saying, as a person who is going to sit for this exam, this is what I will always understand. Then, if Jason decides to resign, as now this is your third part of the question. If Jason decides to resign as an employee of initial PLC by 14th of March 2023, briefly explain the main content and purpose of the payee from P45. Payee form from P45. What is payee? Pay as you earn. I'm asking another question. Do you need to read the scenario to answer this? Now 4 marks in this question, you can answer without touching the scenario based on your theoretical aspect and the level of confidence that you have built and how much you have spent time on those areas will help you to answer this. Did you understand that? That's what you need to realize. There's not me giving the answer for this directly. We can draft answers. We'll draft answers. Okay, fine. but did you understand the requirements? So I read the requirement. Once you have done reading the requirements, now when you go back to your question, you can filter what information is essential to draft your answer, isn't it? So you need to calculate the income from subsequent PLC and income from initial PLC to show your calculation. That is the main calculation part. Apart from that, you need to draft answers there, isn't it? So in this question for the calculation, you are scoring 11 marks. To calculate, they are telling that your answer should be a separate calculation for income tax year 23-24 under each employment, which means for subsequent separately and initial separately. That is one of his examiner's requirement. So you need to understand, you need to plan your answer. There needs to be two things that you need to show. So two subheadings will come to your answer. Did you understand that? So while you're planning, you need to draft your answer. You should learn to draft your answer. Now, for an example, you don't want to answer from the beginning. So I can say my B part of the question. So I can say income tax computations. Okay, just drafting you for a sake. So in exams, do they check spelling errors? No, no worries for that. So you can say income tax computations for what? Of Jason. Or you can say for Jason. And here you can say subsequent. You also use your laptop or monitor. It is for if you haven't brought it, write it. Better practice it in the platform itself, because in the exam you need to type, no, isn't it? So you can say subsequent PLC, and you can say initial PLC. So something like this. Just draw and keep. So you're already planning your answer here. Okay, I'm not going to do much about this because I don't know about the questions what I'm trying to input. Right. So let us go to the question back. Oh my God. Why this happens? Okay. Cool. So now see the question. By the look of the question, don't get fear. Okay. Some students, oh my God, I have to read all these information. So don't put your mindset there, because if examiner is giving more information means you're lucky. Got it? Because you can draw your answers. So now before I read it with you, I want your understanding. So I have shared the content for initial PLC. Okay. So can you read and try to summarize things? We'll spend time, okay? We don't want to time the question. We'll spend time a bit. First, think that you are getting this question for your exams. You understood the requirement, right? You need to calculate your income tax computations. Then A and C part, we have to write it up. Writing parts will deal it at the last. But in terms of calculations, can you draw the figures from this? Let's see how far you understand this part. Okay, give your time to understand. Done with initial PLC, or you just browsing yourself through? First, we'll go one by one. Okay. Did you understand this question first? Read, everyone? Enough reading time, no? So, shall we read it together now? Now, see, Jason is currently employed by Initial PLC. So Jason is working with Initial PLC as a sales manager, but he is considering to resign on 14th of March 2023. Back in your mind, always run your tax year. What is your tax year? 23, 24. So from when it falls? 6th of April to 5th of April. This is 23 and this is 24. Now this is your tax year. This is your tax year. So always keep that in your mind, because that part will play a crucial role when you are deciding certain parts of your answer. Okay, fine. Then he's planning to resign. He's considering. Okay, still he has not resigned. Did you understand that? Fine. And taking up an offer and in an employment with subsequent PLC, which would be starting from 15th March 2023. Okay, so he has accepted the offer letter, which he will be starting it from when? 15th March 2023. Fine. Then is it inside your final tax period or outside? I'm asking, the tax period means our tax period is 23-24. Is it inside 23-24 or outside? It is inside. Okay, fine. Then if employed by subsequent PLC, Jason will receive a higher base salary and more benefits. Of course, right? If you are leaving a company, means the other company should provide more than what you get here. Fine. So those are bullshits there. I don't want to read that. Now see, that's how they will give more information to you. Just ignore those things. However, Jason wants to know how much more income tax. This is where examiner or Jason needs your help. He needs to know how much more income tax he will have to pay for the tax year 23-24 if he is taking the new employment offer. So that is your requirement. So that is why you are going to calculate, okay, what is your employment income here? What is the employment income there? Okay. So then the following information is available for the tax year 23-24. Did you understand that? It is 23-24. Fine. Then they have given the details of Initial PLC. So Initial PLC is the company he is working at the moment. So if Jason remains in this company, then rather than taking up the offer in subsequent, he will have a gross annual pay. He will have a gross annual salary of £180,000 during the tax year 23-24. So this is one part of my record. I'm calculating his income. So I ask you to use some common sense, right? This common sense you need to use here is, I'm finding Jason's income. Now see, I'm relating myself to the question. I'm going to live with my question now. In the exam hall also, live with your question. Talk to Jason now. So you are the tax advisor of Jason. That is how you need to position yourself. So Jason's income, you need to analyze it, isn't it? So technically, Jason is making. So I'll take the Initial PLC first. So from Initial PLC, Jason is making a salary. It's a gross salary, right? A gross salary of how much? 180,000, isn't it? So you're making a salary of 180,000. Fine. Just give me a moment. Okay. So he's making a salary of how much? 180,000. So I'm just marking as it is. As soon as I read, I'm going to mark it. Did you understand that? Fine. So then Jason will contribute 8,000 into occupational pension scheme, right? So occupational pension scheme means, is it class 1 or class 2? Bad question to ask at the wrong timing, no? So you can't say no for this. Now what you need to excel next, I'm not going to say this thing. Now when you read these things, you need to understand the national insurance contributions part. In this question they ask us to ignore, but this is the time for you to revise and recall. This is where your summary is important. You got it? As soon as you click on something, this is why I advise you all to prepare your summaries in your theory sessions. So then quickly you can go back and see what is happening there. You can recall things rather than me telling things. I will only recall those things. Okay, fine. So now what happens? Jason is contributing to his employee pension scheme 8,000. Okay, fine. So then, which means his employee pension contribution, it's an employee pension contribution. Okay. So his employee pension contribution is how much? How much is contributing? 8,000. So he's contributing 8,000.
Small question.
Yes.
So in the question it says to ignore the national insurance, right? NIC.
Yes.
So why do we take the pensions?
Of course, to estimate his income, because you need to understand your taxable income. Without knowing the taxable income, can you tax him? You can't, right? So we are not going to do the NIC contributions here. They obviously said not to do, but it doesn't mean that to find out the taxable income, you can go only with the salary. Okay? Okay, fine. Cool. Then, going back. Then, in addition to his salary, Jason expects to be paid following bonuses. Okay. You asked bonuses, right? So now bonus is also there. Additional bonuses. And you are expecting to receive 22,000 pounds. The date of entitlement is 15th March, but date of payment is 30th April. In respect for the year ended 31st January 2023. But you are going to get 24,000 pounds on 30th April 2024. In respect, and the date of entitlement is 15th March 2024, but in respect of the year 2024. Now, what is a bonus? Bonus is an extra income that an employee is receiving from his employment. But the problem is not that. The problem here is, what is the bonus income that you need to take to your what period? Tax period. So who can tell me what is the amount to decide here? 22,000. Anyone else?
So 22,000 is because we take income tax is cash basis as it's mentioned, right? So we can't take for 24,000 is only paid in 30th of April 2024. So that's past the tax period.
Your explanation is correct, but understanding is incorrect. You need to determine not the date of payment, you need to determine the date of entitlement. Yeah. So you need to determine the date of entitlement in this incidence. Why? This is I'm planning to give you on 15th March 23, which means it is falling for the period financial year 22-23. You got it? 15th March 2024 is falling for the period 23-24. I am hunting the incomes and expenses for 23 and 24 period. So technically, if I were you, what I would say the examiner, okay, no, it is not coming for 24-25. Your entitlement date is on 15th of March, no? It is 4th of April, no? 6th, 5th of April. See, that period you need to decide. So here I would say is additional income, which means the bonus that you need to determine on, I'll write the date, 15th March. Let's go slow. 15th March 2023. 15th March 2023. Can you take it? No, you can't take it. It is a nil. It doesn't mean that you can't show it. So why am I showing it? I will say to the examiner on the other side a note column. Note. See, I'm structuring my answer so he will be happy. So I can tell him this bonus is related to tax year 22. There's a slash 23. Did you understand that? So I would say,
Yes.
yeah,
So when we say generally, if it's not mentioned, we take cash basis, right?
yeah. Here you are estimating the incomes, no? Did they anywhere say that he has received 180,000 for this period? We are making on accrual basis. Okay, so don't talk about the accrual basis or cash basis. Don't confuse yourself there. Go along with your accrual basis. If it is needs to be cash basis, they will mention. Okay, they will mention to you. So don't disappoint yourself. Go with accrual basis. Fine. So then the bonus of, now you know the reason why am I mentioning it, because that was one of the examiner's requirement to mention that bonus too. If it is not taken up, don't leave it. Please show, if it is exempted, show it as 0. If it is deductible, show it as 0. That's the reason why I'm showing it as 0. Otherwise I will put it under a separate note. Did you understand that part of the question? It is also a requirement. Okay, fine. So next one is the bonus which is paying on 15th March 2024. How much is that? 24,000. That is 24,000. Fine. Up to this point, all clear? I'm just moving on with the question. So now, throughout the tax year 23-24, okay, throughout the tax year 23-24, Jason will be provided, no, see, will be provided with free meals in Initials PLC's staff canteen. The total cost of these meals will be £1,440. Free meals in the staff canteens are available to all initial employees. To all initial employees. Okay. Now tell me, now this is a benefit he is receiving. Is it an exempted benefit or not? This, what do you say? Since everyone is receiving, that's why I highlighted that word all. This is an exempted benefit. Under which heading you studied? Under employment income. This is an exempted benefit. So you need to show that in your calculation, saying that staff canteen, I would say it is exempt. It is exempt. Okay, so make it 0. Isn't the whole amount? how you can get the difference. But if everyone receives 1000 and if he receives 1440, then 440, then the difference. Fine. So that's all. They were talking about the employment income of initial PLC, right? So I would say, so you can type the word equal, add it, plus this. Now you have an equation. Unfortunately, I can't use in this. Okay, anyways, you use this. It's not gonna take time. Plus this, plus this going to be his employment income is going to be how much? His employment income is 196,000. How much? 196,000. Am I done with my answer? No. One part of my computation is done. So now I need to assess subsequent PLC. So let's see his offers at subsequent PLC. Okay. So he's having okay, fine. Can you all decide the level of income that he is going to get, and then we'll discuss together? Can you go through this? Yes. You don't need the Excel for this. For a moment. Yeah, tell me. What's the doubt you have? I'll go to the question. Shall we do it together? Let's do it together. The first question, we'll do it together. Deducted at source means that is why I deducted at the income, gross salary. So that 8 occupational pension schemes. What do you mean by occupational pension schemes? Your company is paying your pension schemes from your salary. Okay. Personal pension schemes means your company is not paying, you get the gross amount, you decide how much to pay. Then your tax bands will increase. You got it? Fine. Now, in this question, if Jason is taking up the offer with the subsequent PLC, he is going to get 205,000. How much? 205,000 as his employment income. So I would say, if Jason is continuing with subsequent PLC, his gross salary is going to be how much? 205. 205,000. Okay.
So small question,
Yeah.
he's joining on 15th March 2023, right?
Yeah.
And you're also doing the taxation for 23 and 24, right?
Yeah.
Also, you want me to prorate it then.
Why you need to prorate? What is the question? They are asking you to estimate how much of income tax that he would need to pay. Okay, so you need to just compare for a year how much he's going to pay. That is the question. Here it's nothing about prorating things, because can you work in two companies at the same time? No, but I understood your question. But she's asking, you know what she's asking? Don't you want to prorate? Now, we are not trying to find for 1 month, 15 days, how much. No, his total income. The requirement is what? Let's go to the requirement. Good, that you asked. The requirement is calculate how much more income tax Jason will have to pay for the tax year 23-24 if he takes the offer with subsequent PLC rather than remaining employed by initial PLC. Okay, so then you need to estimate, okay, if you would have worked at this point, how much of tax you would have paid. If you have worked at this point, how much of tax you would have paid. Then you try to find out the difference and say, is it beneficial and how much it is beneficial. Did you understand that? Fine. That's all you need to do. Here you don't want to prorate anything. Okay, but you need to prorate your incomes. Specific incomes you need to prorate it now. So this is throughout the year. He is going to get 205,000. No issues. Fine. So subsequent PLC will contribute a 9,000 pounds into company's occupational pension scheme on behalf of Jason. Okay. So, should you consider this? Should you consider this or not? Should you consider the employment?
Right.
Yeah, the personal pension scheme. If you are in doubt, I'll come to this point later. I'll keep asterisk and go. Because you need to understand, try to process that thought. But still, let's go with the other parts. Throughout the tax year 23-24, Jason will be provided a hybrid electric car for a list price of 62,500. And the official carbon emission rate, now he's having what car? Hybrid electric car. Then official carbon emission is 25 grams per kilometer, and it has an electric range of 25 miles. So Jason will not be provided with any fuel for private journeys. Okay, they are telling that for private journeys they are not going to give any fuel, but he will be provided with an electric car. Okay, so you are getting a car benefit here. So car benefit is decided based on the carbon emission percentage. Okay, so you need to go to your fact sheet. Okay, but I'll summarize you things once you go to your fact sheet. So your car benefit, you are emitting how many grams of carbon? You're emitting how many grams of carbon? Yeah. So this is a hybrid vehicle. So what you need to estimate? You need to estimate your electric range, not the carbon range. So electric carbon range anyways. So let me call it as electric range. Okay. Now this part of your question is given in your exam. But however, you need to know, so since the carbon emission rate is falling between 1 gram to 50 grams, so if it is falling between 1 grams to 50 grams per kilometer, then, and the electric range, you need to check that as well. The carbon emission is it is falling between 1 gram to 50 gram. Then the electric range. Okay, so then the electric range of less than how much? Electric range is less than 30 miles. How many miles? 30 miles. Now go back and refresh your theories. I'm highlighting how to apply that knowledge here. I can't go back to everything. Okay, go back to your fact sheet, go back to your activity questions we did, and try to apply here. So technically we are having a hybrid car which is provided to the employee. So then you need to understand he is receiving a car benefit. That is the first understanding. He is receiving what? He is receiving a car benefit. So to decide that car benefits percentage, you need to understand how much of the benefit you need to recognize. So to recognize that car benefit, there is a procedure. So since you are choosing a hybrid vehicle, okay, the income that needs to be taxed from that portion of 62,500 will be decided if you are emitting any carbon between 1 gram to 50 grams per kilometer. In this case, how much you are emitting? You are emitting 25 grams of carbon. Okay, you are emitting 25 grams of carbon and it needs to be less than 30 miles. So here you are estimating actually 25 miles. Then it needs to be, the car benefit needs to be calculated at 14%. So you don't want to remember this percentage. That will be provided to you in the exam in your fact sheet. What sheet? In your fact sheet. Did you understand that application here? That is what I wanted to tell you. Rather than the electric range. You can't go to the electric range, you need to go to the carbon range. So they will give both. No worries. So you need to decide that. Fine.
It's a 50.
Carbon is?
Carbon benefit is 850.
Let's calculate. We need to calculate. Okay. So first you need to understand this part. So now this employee is receiving a car benefit. So let me keep the pension scheme idle for the moment. So he is receiving a car benefit. So to calculate the car benefit, you need to take, so I'll show the calculations also to you. 62,500 into, so into 14%. How many percent? 14%. So the car benefit that you need to be taxed is going to be 62,500 into 14%. It's going to be 8,750. Going to be how much? 8,750. That is the amount of income that needs to be taxed. Fine. Then let's see what are the other benefits he's receiving. So the fourth benefit he is receiving, so this we need to, for the period of 6th April to 30th July 2023, subsequent PLC will provide Jason with a living accommodation in a property purchased by a company for £140,000. How much? the property will be valued at 285,000 pounds. So property will be valued at what rate? 285,000 pounds. Fine. Improvements costing 17,000 pounds were made to the property during the August 2021. Fine. The annual value of the property is 4,800 pounds. Okay, cool. Then that's all they have provided. Now with this information, what we are supposed to do? Who can tell me? Now you read this information, right? Now what is the benefit I'm receiving? What's the benefit I'm receiving? First you need to determine I'm receiving a living accommodation. Am I correct? Do you receive a living accommodation? Now, first you need to understand what is the benefit you are receiving. Did you understand that? Fine. Now your thought should go, what are the benefits an employee would receive under living accommodation? What is deductible and what is not deductible? You got it? Fine. Then, so yet again, I'll read it to you. So Jason will be provided a living accommodation in a property purchased by the company for 140,000 pounds. Who is purchasing this company? Sorry, property. This property is purchased by the company. Jason is not purchasing this. Anyways, that is not his income also. We need to identify what sort of an income we need to pull out of this and tax him. Right. The property will be valued at 285,000 as of 6th of April 23. Fine. Improvements 17,000. Who are making the improvements? Who are making the improvements? Who are making the improvements? Company is making the improvements. All good. So then the annual value of the property made to him, the annual value of the property is 4,800. Okay. So how you need to understand this living accommodation is, if you live elsewhere, you need to pay this benefit. Then someone else you need to spend this, or you need to pay this, or someone will receive this benefit. So technically, if organization is renting out this property, they will receive an income of 4,800. But are they receiving this 4,800 here? No. So from taxation point of view, you're losing a tax money. You got it? So this is a loophole from the taxation point of view. So how we are going to charge on living accommodation is, we are going to charge we are going to recognize your income as how much it has been offered to you. Okay. So the property was offered to you for 4,800 for the period of 6th of April to 31st July 2023. So which means, is it falling within our financial period? When I say financial, means tax year period or not, is the next question. Two things you need to see. Sometimes examiner can give you an idle information to you. So don't get caught to that trap. But still, I'm asking you a question. My question to you all is this information is falling within your tax period or not? Yes. Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I said it's falling. I thought you asked a question, it was falling or not.
All right. Fine. So it is falling during our period. Do you all agree to that? How many months? How many months? May, June, July, or how you need to take April, May, June, July. Is that the way you need to take? Now that's the question. Now some students go wrong in there, but technically half a mark will be reduced because this part of your section will be marked by the examiner, not the computer. But still I'm saying that I'm not like asking you to make the mistake, but there can be a confusion. So is it 3 months or 4 months? But technically you are right. but answer you got it wrong. Fine, you will get the score, but you're not. Don't avoid talking bullshit with this examiner. Honestly, I'm saying, okay. So you understood it needs to be how many months? 4 months.
It's not by the computer itself. This exercise is not by the exam.
Yeah, A and B by the CB, So because you are giving task questions and MCQs, so it's CB. So the other part only it will be marked by the examiner. Fine. Because there is nothing to mark by the examiner, no? You need to say A, B, or C, the system will correct it. Happy, no? Because system can't make mistake. 99% accuracy. Even though your examiner makes mistakes. One hard day he had a good fight with his wife and comes and marks your paper, means inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Fine. I don't want to say that. No, you can't bring moods. For that also you have policies, to be an examiner, you have separate set of skills. You need that. That's why I told you I might be sitting for the ATX paper. You got it? Because you need to really feel the pressure. You need to sit and write and draft the answers and see how you are drafting the answer, how you are absorbing the. Now, I can't do at this pace this question at the exam. Honestly, that is the thing. If I do at this pace, I will lose the timing to do the others. But you need to understand these things. So it's not easy. For this, we need to practice it. We need to connect our thinking. And we have to try not to waste the time as much as possible. Okay, fine. Coming back. So you understood there is 4 months here. So then, now here you need to understand the additional benefits you are receiving from the living accommodation and the annual benefit. The first thing you need to determine the annual benefit plus the additional benefit. Okay. Why am I writing these things? Because next time when you get a question on living accommodation, this is what you need to think. What is the annual benefit you are receiving? What is the additional benefit you are receiving? So in terms of living accommodation, so that is the annual benefit that you are receiving of 4,800. So I would say living accommodation, you are receiving 4,800 for how many months? That is for 12 months, but you need it for 4 months. So which means technically 4,800 will be provided to you only for 4 months. So you need to pay, or your income that needs to be computed for taxation purposes is 1,600 only, not the entire 4,800, because it will be provided to you only for first 4 months. So not to the entire period is not related to you. Right, fine. Then there is an additional benefit that you need to determine when it comes to your what? When it comes to your living accommodation. So let me compute your working by the side of this. So I would say living accommodation working. Now you need to know your theoretical knowledge a bit. So what is the value of the property? The value of the property, you need to take the market value or the cost? Market value. So value of the property, you need to take the what value? I'll put MV for your reference. So MV means that needs to be your market value. MV means what? That needs to be your market value. So what is your market value? Your market value is going to be 285, right? 285,000.
That's because it's purchased 7 years ago. No?
Yeah. So you need to take what is the present value, because I can't tax you for the amount which you have purchased before. That's the market value you need to take. So the improvements, you're making some improvements, right? So the improvements you are making, hold on. The improvements you are making is 17,000. But when you are making that August 2021, so this was made in 2021, that would have been included in your cost, isn't it? After that only you are valuing your property at 6th of April 2023, which means already the improvement is done. With the improvement only you will value. You will not value your property without improvement how much, with improvement how much. So it will be an inclusive figure. But make sure, even though you are showing you are working to the examiner, be very pleasing to him, because this is what will save from a 49 to a 50. Okay, so tell him that improvement is 0. Just type it and tell him it is 0. You know why I'm telling again? Because he was expecting this in your answer. Okay, some might ignore blindly, because whether you know or not, examiner doesn't know. He's a third party, so you should always inform him you knew that. Okay, fine. Up to this point things are going okay. Now I'll ask you another question. There is a limit which is provided to you which will be tax free. So what is that limit? For living accommodation, it is 75. How much? 75,000. So the additional benefit that needs to be charged, the total value of the additional benefit that needs to be charged is 285 plus this plus this is 210,000. Is that your answer? Is that your answer? No. The additional benefits that needs to be charged is how much? Out of this, once you get the figure, you need to charge a percentage of 2.25%. How much? 2. Now these are your understandings you should have. This is 2.25% you need to charge, right? Is it for the whole year? That 2.25, is it the whole year? Yes, it is for an annual, but you are utilizing the accommodation only for 4 months. For how months? How many months you are living? You are living for 4 months. So which means that I need to calculate 210,000 is for at 2.25%. So let me subtract 210,000 at 2.25%. So I would say 2.25%. But that is for how many months? 12. Yeah, you need to take for 4 months. So divided by 12. So which means 1,575 is the additional benefits that you receive, or that is the amount that needs to be taxed.
Between that and the value.
Exactly. You need to take the lowest and the annual value. Right. So which means that the additional benefits needs to be from your working. I'll put a W there. So that is equals to this amount, 1,535. Yes, you need to include the book because that is also a benefit he's receiving, right? Fine. We are not done with the question yet. So let me move into the question again. So the first four is done. Then the fifth one. On 1st of August 2023, this is happening within our financial or tax period. Subsequent will provide Jason with an interest-free loan of £140,000 to help him purchase a main residence. No repayments will be made before 5th of April 2024. So when company is providing you a loan, when company is providing a loan, what you need to do? Who is providing this loan? Who is providing this loan? Who is providing this loan? Company is providing to the employee. So is it an income to him? Yes. So you need to get the difference of the interest charges exactly. So he will be getting 140,000 worth of loan, isn't it? Of this, the benefit that you need to take is 2.25% as the part of the income that he would be taxed. Okay, as the part of the income that he would be taxed. Okay, fine. So this is given to him on 1st of August. So from August to April, how many months? It is 8 months. So this is the benefit that you will receive as a result of Jason with an interest-free loan of 140,000 provided to him to purchase a main residence. Okay. So technically, you can say a beneficial loan, we call it as what? He is receiving a beneficial loan. Now see, it is best to live in Sri Lanka. You take UK tax system, anything and everything is taxed. I'll tell you the advantage. Today morning, I was talking to a UK resident. Okay, so he left Sri Lanka in 2009. Okay, so I met him when I was coming back to Colombo. I got in from Negam. Okay, with him I was just talking to him. So then he went to UK in 2009. You know what he told me? Literally, to settle down in UK, you need 10 years. How many years? 10 years. He's making good money now. But to complete yourself, settle down things, get your PR and everything, it takes you how many years? 10 years. It takes you 10 years. Did you understand? Then he's telling that it is a country where you need to earn until you die. And their policy of living And Asians living culture is totally different. In an Asian culture, the dad is the main person who is making the income to survive, isn't it? So you go to a restaurant, you buy meals, your family is also coming, your friends is also coming, but you are the only person who is bearing the bill, for an example. But there, father will pay for whatever he eats, mother will pay for whatever she eats, kids will pay whatever they do, unless they are small. So their adaptation is earning and enjoying for themselves. So their level of taxation is built upon that mindset. You got it. Now Sri Lanka is also adapting to that. Okay, that's why you feel now. So yes, you need to go for good taxation laws. You need to have, but you are not paying tax willingly. There are people pay taxes willingly. Whether you pay or not, they will take it from. Huh?
PR is not guaranteed.
You can't say that. But now the political movements are a bit harder. France is rejecting the immigrants. No, they started to put that rule. Europe is starting. But do you know why they? I mean, they give scholarships and take you as students. They love you. Cheap labor. What's the thing? Cheap labor. That's the only reason they are getting. They are not dumb people. Okay, we are dumb. If we are not dumb, why the hell we study ACCA? We would have studied CA. That's how they have influenced the world. Now I'll tell you something. When you go into deep into taxation, you understand politics a bit. Now this Trump came again. No? You know what happens now? UK turns the policies. So US and UK are okay means if UK is okay, Europe countries are okay with whatever UK says. Though they are out of now for media only, they are out of EU. Actually, they are not out of EU. Okay, that's a bigger part. That's whatever. End of the day, we need to answer these questions and get it's fine. Let's see when because even I was trying to migrate myself to UK. My some of my family members are also living, so they're out suburbs. Okay, they're living in Liverpool. Okay, I had that plan. Then I did my PGD. I got AB endorsed. You know, AB endorsed qualification. That's easy to apply for UK if you have that qualification. It's a level 7 qualification. So I got that first class and everything, but I didn't apply. You know why? Corona came. Corona time they banned everything. Then I lose the hope. Now no point going there. Go to Dubai, tax free. Your income is not taxed. That's their government setup. Yeah, here even in Sri Lanka, you need to pay a bit. Okay. So if you earn more than 150,000, they'll charge you income. They are tax free. 100% is given to them. That's why people move to Middle East mostly. The Middle East is creating the culture. Yet again, they need labor and resource. Salary wise, that when you compare with the benefits wise, standard wise, living standard wise, think you are comparing the rates. No, you got it. That's the Asian mindset. How much salary they are? £100. 100 into 400. Oh wow. But how much you need to spend there? £500. How much is left? £500. Not just gave you an example. Middle East, comparatively less. But if you want to live in the Dubai city itself, it's little expensive. But you can move to closer cities like Sharjah or something. That's how people are living. I'm not promoting to go to Dubai. Okay. So there are also their worst things are there. So whatever the country you choose, that is where you're going to end up with. Fine. Where? UAE main disadvantage is you won't get the resident. But you have that 25 years visa. That's enough. No, man. 25 years you renew, you pay again. To live there, you pay. You need to pay the visa cost. Technically, companies bear that for your families as well. Family accommodation is given if you are chose to a right company. Fine. Then the beneficial of the loan that you are receiving, that you need to do the calculation. So I have drafted the calculation. That is what this is, 140,000 pounds. So let me show it here. So then you also refer, what is it? 140,000 pounds into, sorry, 2.25%, but you need to take it for 8 months. So you need to take 140,000 the brackets. Let me put it in the brackets. 140,000 into 2.25. So you can get it from the calculator and punch it, or you can use the equations. Better to use the calculator and punch it there, just in case. Okay, don't waste your time unnecessarily if you don't know the Excel form. That's why I don't teach the Excel formulas to the students. You know that, because you go and confuse there at the moment, and you are just wasting your time. Most of the students, they study the formulas and go to the exam, and unnecessarily they have wasted the time. There was one student who was calling me and asking me, sir, you don't teach Excel formulas. Come on. It is not the time to practice your formula there. If you practice your formulas there, yes, if you're good at practicing it, fine. You learn things. Yes, I know that. But don't go and practice in the exams. If you want, then I'll teach you. If you know, use it. That's what I'm saying. Unnecessary. If you don't know, you are taking time to adapt is fine. But this is not the moment to adapt too much on it. Calculator is given to you on the top, no? In the exam resource, I'll show it to you. You can take that also. It's permission. You did exams, right? You took your calculator. Did they ask you to give the calculator? No. No. You don't want to the way you are doing it. The final answer is important. Workings. Now, see, in this question, I did the workings. I said 2.25 I need to take, and I got 1575. Then, of course, they know that I took it from 210. So examiner is not dumb. If he's asking such a question, he knows that how you would have received your answer. Okay, fine. But for practice only, I'm showing this. Once you go home and refer the same answer, then you don't know how you arrived at this answer. So these side, the definitions now in this column, what I have mentioned, don't take it, okay? So I'm just giving to your reference that. So that once you go home, or what happened? Formula is wrong. 2.5%, no? I say this will happen and you will confuse. It needs to be 2,100. Am I correct? So now you need to get the total. So equal. So how to get the total? You know that? So command F5, it's not working here. Equal sum from here to here. It's not working. Unknown ranges are shown. This is what I hate about Excel. No, don't delete it. Why it is? So technically, take this plus this plus this. Is that the income you're getting? 219,025. Fine. Coming back to the essence of the question. So where possible, subsequent PLC will payroll the taxable benefits provided to Jason so that the related income tax liability will be collected under payee along with his salary. So what they're trying to say here, where possible, subsequent PLC will payroll the taxable benefits provided to Jason that the related income tax liability will be collected along the payee. Payee means what? Pay as you earn. And along with his tax salary, that is actually related to your third part of the question.
Does that mean that they are paying his tax?
That's who is, of course, right? Payee means as soon as you learn your income, you need to pay your taxes. They'll calculate and they pay it through the system. Okay. So then, that's what I'm going to come. So I left that asterisk mark to you. Now think, should I take this 9,000 into my calculation or not? Why?
It's paid by the company separately.
Hmm?
The company is paying.
Yeah, it is already deducted. Why it is already deducted? Before getting the gross annual salary, it is already deducted. So in this question, what is the difference then? So if Jason remains employed, he will be taking and he will be paying a gross annual salary of £180,000 during the tax year. So then Jason will contribute 8,000 to occupational pension scheme. Who will continue? Jason. Now in this question, who contributes? Company contributes. So it is not deducted from Jason's income. It is separately computed. That is why it is exempted. You got it? Did you understand the difference between the previous sentence and this sentence? Otherwise, there is no difference. I thought you will catch it up because I already read that for you. Fine. So since subsequent PLC will contribute 9,000 into his occupational pension scheme, this money is not taxed to him. Pension schemes are taxed? No, it is exempted. Okay, occupational pension scheme at this point it is exempted. Here, since he is contributing, that is why it is being taxed. Did you understand that point? That is very important. Fine. So now going back to your calculation, to your sheet, so your occupational pension scheme is 0, then
Does that 9,000 mean they are paying a separate income or they are deducted from the income itself?
they are additionally paying to them. Separate. Both can pay. That's what I'm saying. Company as well as you can pay both. Fine. So that is going to be a 0. That is exempted. Okay, fine. Now, so technically, what is your income? So now I calculated both of your income. So can you all tell me how much of tax you need to pay?
So both obviously one have personal allowance.
Hmm?
Both one will be given personal allowance.
That's what I wanted to check with you.
They don't have any donations and then it's actually 125 and 40.
Hmm.
So 0.
0.
B. Personal allowance.
Okay, fine. Did you understand what he's saying? What he's telling is now your income level, income for initial PLC, you are going to get 196,000. Income from subsequent PLC, you are getting how much? 219 and 025. So technically, I will say the examiner, since his taxable income exceeds more than I don't have a pounds here. Okay, more than 125,140. Do you know that limit? Is it? Yeah, better to put that pounds here. I can't find that. So in exam they will give you the pound sign. Okay, so I don't want to put the dollar sign here, but put it that 125. No, sorry, 125, 140. because it's more than 125, 140. Then what you need to say? No personal allowance is no personal allowance in both instances. You got it? So you don't have personal allowance in both instances. Mention that to the exam. You got it? Donation. Of course, here there is no donations. No. So no donations also provided. If you want mention now, since allowance that needs to be obviously calculated in income tax, no. A personal allowance is received, no. So the personal allowance is not applicable in this case. So it is exempted because of this reason. Right. Now what you can also say is, now both instances your income is more than 125, 140. So technically, who is this person? Jason is an additional tax rate payer. So if he's an additional tax rate payer, he will end up paying taxes at additional rate. Additional rate of how much? 45. Did you understand that? So technically, don't waste your time. Okay, $1 to 37,700 this much. You got it? That's the next mistake that you all do. Then from 37,701 to 125,140 is this much. No, the question is the benefit. So the benefit anyways is exceeding 125, 140, right? So obviously he will be charged at the higher rate. So what you can do to receive the benefit, so benefit, or not saying the benefit, no, they're asking the additional tax rate, right? I would say the additional tax paid being little smart with the examiner. Okay, I would say my income is 210 in subsequent 219 025, no, 5. I'll show it to you separately. 219025 minus how much initially? 190, 196,000, right? 196,000. You can say into 45%. Take the difference and multiply by 45% and let me know the benefit. Two 19025. You're getting 10,361. That is the benefit. That is the additional tax that you are paying. So you are now see what will happen. Now I'm receiving only 11 marks. You will also receive 11 marks, but you will be starting to find this benefit by calculating one by one. You got it? You will take 196 from 37,700, you calculate 20%. Then from 37,700 to 125, 140, you will calculate 40%, and the extra 45%. Same thing, then again you will repeat it to whom? the subsequent PLC. You'll get it. When you take the difference, this is where you will arrive at. So this is a short way of getting there, understanding what level of tax rate payer he is. You can save time by doing this way. 100% marks you will get it. Not relevant. Now see, that is what you need to understand. This is what I need to show to you. So his question is how much more tax he will pay. Okay, so you are going to say the additional tax paid during these two income level is 103. That is the final answer. Even if you do the above, all the above things are the workings. Finding out 196, finding out 219 is your working. Yet again, don't waste your time calculating more taxes calculation. Yes, he's happy to show that. So you're not going to get more marks. Now, when you do that, you will waste 10 minutes there. Technically, how much time I took? I took 1 minute. So this is what you need to practice at home, how to save time. Right. So the first part we answered. Fine, you can take it down. Done. So to the other questions, I will dictate you the answer or the draft the answers, because there you need to write. Now see, if you are going to the question without reading, okay, without reading any of your answers, I mean the requirements, you will just waste your time reading the question again for requirement A and C. Requirement A and C did not have any touch with the question. Do you want to pay more attention there? Even though, for an example, let's assume you are running short to answer the last question in the exams. So there will be a calculation part and there will be an area for you to just read and type some answers. Don't lose that marks if you have left with only 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, you can't do a big calculation like this. Even though you are leaving out target for that 4 marks. Because already you have answered 80 marks there. Sorry, 80 or 85 marks you already answered. So only 15 mark is missing here. Out of this 15, don't lose that 4 marks also. Going for that big calculation, thinking that you will receive more marks. You got it? So there you don't want calculation. You need to share your theoretical knowledge and type some answers to him. So be smart. No one can answer 100%. Okay, even if I sit the exam, I can't score 100 out of 100. But there are students. So last time it was 96. They are also not scoring 100 out of 100. So I'm not putting you all into pressure and things like that. I'm talking the practical side. In this session, that is what I wanted to say. You got it? So I'm just highlighting these are the situations you will fall. So try to maximize your marks. So this is a paper. That's why the target is 50%. The problem is you are also targeting that 50%. So you end up at 40%. 50% of your skills, which means technically you need to target around 80%. Then only you will fall within that range. Okay, fine. So let's answer to the other parts of the question. So the other parts of the question. So first one, an advantage and a disadvantage for an employee if their employer payrolls the tax or benefits. If employer pays, so in the second scene, subsequent PLC, employer was paying. So what is the first benefit? Oh, first benefit, only one benefit, no. So you can tell, give me. No need to declare payroll benefits on self assessment tax return. Do you understand that? Simple as that. Don't be super stick about answering, oh, I should remember this and that. If you answer this way, can he say no for your advantage? This is an advantage, right? You don't want, if employee is declaring your information, then I don't want to declare my information. That is an advantage for me. You got it? Simple as that. Make your life easy as possible. Fine. Then what is the disadvantage of by doing this? So the disadvantage, I would say, let's say the disadvantage. So what is the disadvantage? Need to pay taxes early under PAYE. You know that? Because if you are submitting your tax return, when you will submit? Annually, Annually only you need to submit your income tax returns. So the payroll benefits, if employee is paying, he will pay then and there. So your taxes amount is already deducted at the source. This is what they are saying. It is deducted at the source. So when you are calculating your income tax return, you find all your tax liability and finally you deducted that payee amount. Why you are deducting that amount? Because already you have settled it to the tax authority. Now you know the disadvantage of it. If you are not paying early, you can accumulate that money and pay it later. You are losing that chance. What is the benefit you are losing? Technically, think inflationary pressures. 100 rupee today and 100 rupee 5 years later is different. There won't be massive changes, but still it's a disadvantage for you. You need to pay upfront. Under what system? Under pay system.
So is paying that monthly.
In you cannot every pay cycle. Every pay cycle. So in our country only we have monthly pay cycles. There you have for some employees weekly. Then weekly from the salary it will go directly. For some employees fortnightly, twice. Some employees monthly. So then and there it will be paid. Why we are subtracting PAY means?
Take all the employees' income.
You need to understand something. Income tax is different. Whatever employer pays is different. As an individual, you need to tell what are the benefits you receive throughout the year. Okay, so technically you say including PAYE, this is what I have received. But since I enrolled myself to the PAYE, which means my employer was paying my taxes on behalf of me every month, in a way that is a less burden to you, because if your main source of income is your employment income, you got it? Because most of your income comes from the employment income and you're already paying the tax part, so you don't feel that you're paying taxes at the end. At the end, if you accumulate, there will be a bigger amount to pay. But you are not receiving your salary annually, no. Annually, it can be around 1 million, but you're not receiving that 1 million December, no. I'm just telling you, if it is December, you will receive only 100,000. But if you want to pay a bigger amount of tax at that point, it is a burden to you. So no, it will discourage for you to pay taxes. So when you are enrolling yourself to payroll, it shrinks your liability and it makes your life easy. That's all the benefit. So there are two ways of doing it. That's why you got the options. Either you can pay or company can pay. So they are given the options. No, if the option is not given means, now see, easy 2 marks for this. Even if you are in the last 5 minutes of your exam, you can get it. You don't want to waste your time. 2 marks for these 2 points. On 2 points, one for that, one for this. One advantage, one disadvantage. So how many marks we have scored now? 13 marks we have scored. In your income tax, yes, you need to pay higher tax. You end up paying higher tax. right? So if Jason decides to resign as an employee, okay, fine. Briefly explain the main context or content of the purpose of PAYE P45. Did we learn this? Yes, we did. So what is the purpose of the PAYE? Who can take it down? P45 form will show Jason's taxable earnings and the income tax deducted up to 14th March 2023 with his tax code. Then you can say also he will provide this code to subsequent PLC so that they can continue from where he left at initial PLC. In terms of calculating what? PAYE. That's all. So you know what is P45 form? No, in Sri Lanka we don't have that system. How many of you are working, by the way? Only few of you are working. You don't work, you don't work, you don't work. Online guys, anyone you're working? Ilma, Danush, Nafis, Natasha, Niroshan. You guys are working? And Shenuri. Anyone? Those who work will understand this, but I'm going to try. And especially if you're working for UK BPOs, anyone knows not working? So you have something called an accounting software called Zero or QuickBooks likewise. So now what happens is I'm talking the practical side of it. Okay, so it's easy to understand. So every organization will use a system. The payroll will be automatically linked with the HMRC. Okay. So in the HMRC, there is a form called P45. So in the P45 form, you will get a code. So in Australia, you call it as TFN, tax file number. Here you call it as a code. So once you type this code, you get all your details in your tax portal. So like now, if you are leaving in Sri Lanka from one company to the other company, they will ask the B card, B form, which means that is the EPF and EPF number, employee number, which is registered in the government. So it will be easy for the next employer to get your details and continue from there. That is the usage of this P45. There it is happening electronically. Once you submit your details, it will be automatically linked into your system. You got it? So it is a systemized thing. So P45 will show Jason's taxable income and how much it has been deducted up until 14th March. Okay. along with his tax code. So to identify, then this will be provide. You will have to provide this to the subsequent PLC. So that will be beneficial for him to continue. I mean, for them to continue from where he left. On from the date he joins, from that day they will continue paying him. You got it? So that will be your employment start date. So this part will understand if you have worked on payrolls before. We have the before. See. Right, now your AKD, right? Talking about this one, yes. Coming up with government pay, the online pay, that is good. I also like it because I'm not a person who is carrying money. It's very hard. Once I told you, right? I got caught in highway, thinking that I had money in my purse. I drove in the highway. Exit when I got a salary now. I'm giving the card. Do they have card system? Luckily, I am using a commercial bank also. Commercial banking, me QR pay ka download kar lati for some reason. But they have that QR pay system there. I was like, hey, unfortunately, the QR is not working. It is not my fault. It's technical fault. Kila mama escaped. How did I escape? They took my license, asked me to go to the nearest ATM and come back and pay and take my license. So, anyways, at least I came out. Otherwise, you know the punishment. There is a big fine. So they are telling that that is my negligence to travel in the highway without knowing the instruction. Then where did they put the notice for me to know to travel in highway? These are the things. Did they, inform me? They will say it has been gazetted. Gazette's another. So you need to, if you go to other countries, you just tap and go. It's easy. Now when I said that, I actually spoke to them in that way. Okay, then when I said that, so that's why we have something called the toll gate ETC, like electronic toll card. Okay, top up that. You know that if you're a frequent person who is going in the crossing the highways, then fine. One of my friend has got it. Same thing happened to me again. I was about to exit from the other exit, but anyways, I'll get caught to another exit also, and I need to pay their notes. Luckily, this guy had that ETC. I called him, then he had it. That's easy to go, but I'm still saying that. So be very careful when you're traveling the highways. Keep at least 1,000. So I always keep a reserve 1,000 in my wallet now.
Yes.
In India, even the payment guys have the scanning system. We are the only person when we go there, we give money. When they give money, no change. GPay. They will ask for GPay. And you know that avoids black money.
In the QR. The government is doing that for all sorts of only for income tax.
I didn't get it. GovPay, first let them introduce, okay. So then it will be connected with your bank, online banking, okay. ID numbers and stuff, they will connect it. First, let see how does it works for us. It should work properly because it's good. No, for all the, then you will get a QR code to scan and pay. Scan and pay that technically. You need to have your mobiles, smart mobiles. 1110 working, make it. Okay, fine. No, that's good. That's a good initiation. Now the bus, the private vehicle people are protesting, no? You are asking us to wash our buses, remove the additional fittings. What happens with the government buses? They are the one who is emitting more carbon. You didn't know that?
They don't have any extensions or something.
The carbon you emit. Let's take a break and come. So
Same for both.
no, they are not checking at all. Do you feel there should be a rain to wash the government bus? Have you ever seen a government bus has been washed? I don't know. Today I met another tax individual. Okay. So, average money they are earning from highway 3 crores a day per day. Normal day, it's not a like busy day. If it's a busy day, it's more than that. 3 crores, okay. I was surprised. He showed me the income. But do you think is that sufficient? They have messed it up. I'll tell you the reasons later. Because normally when I travel with the officials, I used to bring talks to them. I used to talk and get the information what's happening in the taxation system. In vain, I'll tell you the story. It's a big thing. They're wasting their money. You all need cake? I don't know. You guys can share. Be back in 20 minutes.